All right, we are back. I don't know where the source of failure is here because we're maintaining connections with our callers. Our internet connection is great, but our stream is dropping. So we're using a website called Restream.io, and it streams out to a couple different YouTube channels and a couple different places, but that might be the point of failure. So yeah, I'm going to try Xing that out of the equation. We had this problem a while back when I used them a couple years ago, and I dropped them because of it. And then they were stable for a while, and I think that's the problem. I'm going to run another speed test real quick just to see. Speed test. I'm going to put it on the screen here so everybody can see. Speed looks good. Upload looks good too. So, point of failure is coming from somewhere else. Anyways.
Yeah.
We can get back into it. We've got some incredible callers on the line. A lot of people in the chat room. Not as many as we had before, but people will come.
It's okay. They'll come back.
If you broadcast it, they will come.
If you broadcast it, they will come.
Yes. All right. So, let's go back to the call board. Let's go back to Crystal. Crystal, welcome back. And I guess take us away from where we left off, because the entirety is going to go into our Patreon. So that was a good place to cut it anyways. Oh, did we lose the call board too? Let me try reconnecting the call board. All right. Crystal, do we have you back? Crystal, do we have you back? Maybe not.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we're going to put Crystal on hold. Let's go to the next caller. Let's go to 661. What's your name? What's on your mind?
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how's it going, Chris and Cherie and the rest of the BTV tribe? I'm Chris.
Chris.
Hello, Chris.
What's up, man? Great name. Best name in the world. I love it.
It is a great name.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you. But, yeah, it's interesting. I just wanted to say, Nick Bravo, he's a very wise man. He's a genius. He's up to something big, you know. A lot of what he said, you know, and also this woman, Crystal, the one that was here recently just now, these people speak a lot of truth. It's all very true what they say. As they were speaking, I was just feeling this, and oh yeah, it definitely resonates very strongly, you know, and yeah, you know, it's interesting what you're saying, like waking up earlier, feeling this shift, you know. I think we're all feeling this major shift. I'm definitely feeling it myself. I woke up yesterday and today, also with the new moon, it's like a nice little reset, you know. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I wanted to pick up on what Nick Bravo was saying too, and talking about these negative emotions and feelings, and also what we go through, and just all these dark things. You know, I recently was in a very, very dark place, and it was interesting for me because I was in a very high place, just reconnecting with myself, my higher consciousness, but then feeling so connected to the universe and everything, feeling all this love, but then all of a sudden something happened. All these events brought me to a very, very dark place. I felt like I was in hell. And so it was just very dark. I was crying a lot, but you know, I kept talking to myself. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I was talking to myself a lot, and in my mind, I'm telling myself, I'm going to consult myself. I'm going to talk to myself. I tend to do this a lot. Just talk to myself. I have no friends. I only have like very two good friends. They're very far. They're not here. So physically, I don't have much social interaction. So I depend a lot on myself. Most of my life, it's been that way. No friends, and but I enjoy it. I've learned to love it. Love myself, but also in the darkness recently, that was very profound for me. And I just thought I just felt like sharing this, like everybody needs to hear this, just like what Nick Bravo says, Crystal, what you guys says, and the rest of the other great people that have been here. These are messages and reminders for us that, like triggering us psychologically to advance us to that higher potential, what we need to be. But for me, recently, just learning how to sing, consulting yourself with the lights off at night, especially, like when you are feeling the most painful, like celebrate that, just feel it. If you are feeling anger, feel that and talk about it, talk to yourself about it, or to whatever, anything, to the air, to the trees, but say it, speak it loudly and with pride, with strength. And you know what I did? This as an example, one time I decided to drink alcohol one night. But before this, I usually don't get drunk. I don't like to drink. But I said, for this one time, for a special occasion, I'm going to make it like a ceremony. I'm feeling a lot of pain. I want to cry. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get drunk. And I'm going to cry and feel it. But in that, I'm going to celebrate this. I'm going to try and feel happy. I'm going to dance almost like a witch in the nighttime in the woods, dancing right under that full moon. And so I did the same thing, and I woke up the next day feeling so much better. So, like, from that point, things took a toll in that darkness, and I realized something very deep and profound that only I could have found in what I did. However you do it, even if you have to use a substance or a food, I mean, it's all a substance anyway, right? So even the air is a substance. So it doesn't matter however way you do it, as long as you find that solution. That solution to me was, don't be a little punk, don't be a little bitch, don't be a little pussy. Just accept it, love it, celebrate it, sing it. If you have any angers or issues, talk to yourself, calm down, and just breathe deeply. Oh yes, this too.
If you don't mind me jumping in
like,
for a moment, man, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for sharing that, because I feel better now, because I'm constantly talking to myself too, and I'm wondering, is Cherie hearing me mumbling to myself in here?
I hear him sometimes, and I think he's mumbling at me, and I'm like, I hate it when he mumbles at me.
No. I talk things out with myself, and sometimes I let my frustrations out and things like that, and it's comforting to know that others also practice that same kind of self-communication. Sometimes it's just out loud, and sometimes you just speak it, and then when we actually speak it, rather than thinking we're actually putting it out there, either releasing it or manifesting something. And I also feel the same as you do. Sometimes I just want to be a recluse. And I was mentioning a friend of mine came over that I haven't seen in a year, brought us some of these beautiful mushrooms. I mean, gorgeous. And he's been thinking of us the whole year. And he's like, I've been growing these. Well, now that they're grown, I wanted to give them to you. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in a year. And he's like, it's okay, brother. I totally get it. But when I'm in a low frequency, I just, I don't want to be around people, because I don't want to spread that negative energy. And I'm also really careful about who I mix my energy with. So I completely understand. There's times to go out, and there's times to just kind of go within. And I have no problem with anything. If people, choose alcohol or ayahuasca or, whatever it is that they need to get through whatever it is, as long as you are using it and it is not using you, I don't see a problem with anything. But there are some things like heroin, crack, meth, for example, that will use you no matter what. I don't really see very many casual meth users. I see you're either doing a shit ton of meth or you don't do meth at all. So You know, I just want to make a distinction as far as that goes. But if you found relief, if you found solace in being able to sit back and just have a drink and just enjoy your own company, I think that's strength there, because a lot of people are not comfortable with their own company.
They actually did find that people with higher IQs tend to talk to themselves more than people that didn't have an inner dialogue or talk to themselves a lot. People who curse and people who talk to themselves have higher IQs on average. So
you know what I also heard?
Makes sense.
I heard that these motherfuckers, sons of bitches who cuss a lot, have higher IQs, because these fucking assholes.
Motherfucking sons of bitches.
Yeah. I'm just joking there.
Nah.
But no, that is true. They said that people that cuss more actually have higher IQs. Mm-hmm. But I didn't mean to detract from what you were talking about. Your journey is it's very inspiring, and confronting the darkness is something that a lot of people are afraid of, and they try to prevent doing that by occupying themselves with useless bullshit, and even like sometimes like politics, new world order stuff, conspiracy theories. You know, a lot of people that are living in the darkness will turn to these conspiracies and turn to like, end of world prophecies and all this, just trying to make their own existence a little bit better and try to hope that the whole world blows up so their life gets a little bit better, rather than being able to sit down by themselves like you have and deal with what's going on internally. And so I commend you for that 100%.
Yeah, these are people, the people that are doing that are people that they need someone to make a life for them and give them a blueprint to follow, to make something of themselves and to make a life for themselves. We don't need that, because we came in here with a mission and we came in here with a plan already, and it's just a matter of finding our tribe and connecting and doing what we came here to do. So I commend you for knowing that and feeling that and having that knowledge with a GN and awareness within. That gnosis is really powerful, and I can feel that it's really active within you, just like it is with Crystal and the other caller and me and Chris. So I mean, our tribe is really self-directed, and we don't need the world to blow up and implode upon itself in order to find meaning in our lives.
Very true. And you're never alone, brother. Remember that. You're never alone.
Absolutely.
So what else is on your mind?
Well, thank you. That's very well said and true, and I commend you guys a lot too. I have a lot of respect and honor for you guys, and also the tribe. I definitely feel that energy from the tribe. Like it's a very, very strong, very warrior-like energy, and yeah, and just for the, just a little message for the fake love and light people out there, those motherfuckers, because they're the ones that are truly fucking the mother. They think they're doing good things for the mother, but they're truly fucking the mother. They're expressing all these fakeness. We know who they are. And anybody would know who they are. And just a little message today, this is who we are right here, and we are here now. This is the real, love right here that we have, not that fake love and light, whatever new world order or whatever, whatever that gunk is.
Dude,
that is this new operating system of bullcrap.
That is fucking brilliant.
That is brilliant.
These motherfuckers are fucking the mother. Dude, I never have thought of it like that, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're taking these very sacred ideas, taking ideas that free people, using them to control people, using them as escapism, bringing in this fake love and light bullshit that doesn't do anything but just keep people paralyzed and trapped in this perpetual state of victimhood, in this perpetual state of, oh, we're going to ascend. You don't have to do any inner work. You don't have to face any darkness. You don't have to do anything like that. A portal's going to open. The bluebirds are going to come and land. Whatever the hell it is that they're fucking selling. And all it is it's attention. It's attention is the most valuable commodity. The mainstream media wants your attention. The New Agers want your attention. Everybody feeds on that energy of attention to keep it focused everywhere except within. You could talk about God, you can talk about Buddha, you can talk about Blue Avians, you can talk about Arcturians, you can talk about Palladians, you can talk about all that all day long as you don't look inwards. And that's what they're preventing. They're preventing you from looking inwards. I love the way you put that, brother.
Well, thank you. And yeah, that's true. They're just making up for their own weakness and the fact that they're lazy. They really don't want to put in much work. They feel this bliss, and they feel. I mean, these people are wise people. They're there, but the problem is they just don't want to put in the extra work. Like they want to go against certain things that we ourselves are more open to. We understand things from a more higher dynamic perspective, and we're actually trying. We're putting a lot of effort into shifting this and actually trying to connect with others, other people as well, at higher or low vibrations. These people at times just want to connect with higher vibrational people. They get scared of the darker entities. We don't get scared of that. And so, just a message for just to put it clearly, all you motherfuckers that are love and light, and you think you're that, hey, you best watch out, because here we are now. And very soon, these people are going to be amok. Society's going to laugh at them, because they're going to realize, oh, these people are fake. It's just going to be like that. And that is something that we should remember and realize, that this is our world now. Things are in our direction now. And today, yeah, we're feeling this shift. All of us are feeling this greatness. It's our time. It is the year of the tiger. It's like we start now, and then next year and moving forward and forward, whatever's going on with this little world, whatever, these events, these chaotic events in the world, this is all just to show, the masses, just to give them a little taste as well as us. But this is just the beginning of something much higher and better. If you think of the year 2000, it's going to happen the same, but now in a much better, way. Like, we ourselves will become the new leaders and influencers that people are going to look up to. So right now we're preparing for that psychologically, us. And as far as the masses, those who don't see things beyond, it's preparing them as well in the same way, but to be more open to other things, like maybe aliens or things like that. It's becoming more normal. Spirituality, people are learning little by little, healthy eating, exercise, qigong, that's very good. Practicing slow movements and breaths, learning sound language, light language, but we're learning more as well, the science and alchemy of it, as to how to understand it better and clearly. But I myself have learned so much, a whole lot more just from my own self. It's like two people at the same time. It's like you separate yourself from this avatar body. At the same time, you're having this conversation with this higher self, and you're just listening to the higher self. At times the higher self talks, at times the higher self gives you all sorts of mumbo jumbo through sound or things like that. Things get very weird, and we all experience this, we just don't talk about it. It's very personal. It's like sex, you don't talk about that, like the intimacy, the very deep parts of it, like the mechanics. Oh, how did you guys do it? Oh, did you guys live a little left, a little this? How many seconds in this position? And then from that, how did it shift to this one? Like, it's kind of like that, with us too, and our thoughts and the higher self, which is a lot of times we don't know how to explain it, but it's how it goes. And, the weirder it gets, the more bizarre it gets. You realize that this is it starts really connecting you to those higher dimensions, like alien entities, ETs, and higher advanced technology and gnosis and knowledge, Akashic records, whatever we see as the higher intelligence or the highest connection to it all. That's what brings us here to the most present moment. And it is all about that. I just wanted to say this just so I don't take too much time, but just one last thing. It's all about yourself. Love yourself. for everything and own up to everything, even your sadness, your darkness. You know, just don't be a little bitch. You know, own up to it and love yourself and consult yourself very often, because you know that's your highest guide. And then if you silence the thoughts more often in the mind, you know, things become more simpler. But that's what I've learned, and I'm pretty sure everybody has learned that. But it's just what we have to do more often, and it's good that we're all feeling it more and a lot stronger, and now we can take things to the next level. So it's quite an honor to be a part of this BTV tribe with you guys, and I love you guys so much, Chris and Cherie, the cats, Sekhmet and Bastet,
Aw.
just the
I
BTV
love you
tribe,
too, man.
everything, you know.
Oh, we love you too, brother. And
So-
I gotta
Really
say,
do.
you made my day today, because everything that you're expressing is stuff that I've been talking about for a long time, and very few people have been getting it.
Yeah.
And then I'm hearing more and more and more people coming to their conclusions on their own, like yourself, and it's spreading. You know, I'm seeing a lot of the fake light and love people being called out. Not that I want to see them called out. It's just
Right.
they're leading people down the same path as religion, and religion is being called out equally, and people are looking to themselves for their own power and realizing that they have to fight, they have to face the darkness, they have to fight the darkness, they have to conquer the darkness, they have to get down and dirty.
Yeah,
You know,
they can't run from it.
you
Yeah.
want to fix a car, but you're like, oh, I don't want to get my hands dirty. And it's
Right.
like, well, you got to get in that engine, and you got to get in there, and you got to get the nuts and bolts, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that. I mean, you know, you got to get down and dirty if you want to fix it. And people are realizing there's nothing wrong with getting oil all over your hands, because you got to get in there and get the job done.
Right.
Where the love and light people are like, no, we're here in our white, and we don't want to get
We don't wanna get
we don't wanna
oil
get
stains
oil
on it.
stains on our white cloths here.
Yeah, exactly.
I love your brother. Thank you so much. You made my day today, man. This
Mine
was an
too.
awesome call. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to hear and happy to hear all the callers here. You know, it definitely makes my day as well. So
Likewise.
Likewise.
We're gonna let you go.
Thank
We got a
you.
few more callers we're gonna get
Yeah.
to, but much love, brother.
Love you, man.
much love. Okay.
Oh man,
That was
that's
great.
awesome, because he's 100% on point. I mean, they're fucking the mother, and that was a huge revelation for me, because
Yeah.
I didn't realize why it's not hate, because that's not the right word, but I despise these fake love and light people. And it's just, I took it personally, like, you know, it's offensive to me personally that they think that I can't see through their bullshit. But it's so much bigger than that. I didn't realize the offense that I take to it. It's much bigger, because they are fucking the mother. You know, it's really bad. And
Yeah.
you know, we're starting to talk about things that was forbidden to talk about. Not forbidden, but a pofa to talk about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
if it just wasn't talked
it just
about,
you don't talk about the darkness, you don't talk about the struggles, you don't talk about any of that.
Right.
You know,
Nothing
radio
that makes you vulnerable.
in radio.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. You know, you never admit that you're wrong.
Right.
You know, you always, you know, do this, you always do that, you always act like you're perfect, you know, this
Yeah.
and that. And we were one of the first to come out and go, no, we're normal people. When we struggle, we talk about our struggles, because other people then are going, oh, I'm struggling too, so that means it's okay.
Right.
You know, Chris and Cherie are struggling too, I'm struggling too, we're all struggling together.
Yep.
And through that we find strength, and then we overcome all that. You know, it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
And that's not, we opened the show by talking about sex and masturbation, and people in the chat were like, oh my God, are they actually talking about that? I said, yeah, well, let's talk about the stuff that's forbidden.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what, when it comes to sex, I will make 30 seconds feel like an eternity for any woman out there.
I know you will.
It's just a joke.
Next caller.
Come on, that was funny.
But seriously though, I liked what he said at the very end when he was talking about silencing the external thoughts that pop into your head when you're trying to meditate or when you're trying to relax. And for me, it's not really silencing the thoughts as much as it is letting go of the thoughts. Like, it's a mental exercise that I do where I visualize my thought stream as an actual stream, and the stream is moving and it's moving slowly, and there's debris in this pond, and every time I have a thought that is disturbing or that I'm ruminating on or that is not helping me relax and it's not helping me any, in that, I let it go, like I'm letting go of a leaf and letting that leaf float down the stream. And that's how you let go of thoughts and meditate. Are you still joking?
No.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, M. Hawkins, every time she pops in the chat, it's like a reflex. I always turn to see if one of the cats is around.
if she's behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she is actually. She's up there.
Bastet, here, I'll show you on the camera. Bastet is sleeping on the cat
She's
tree
so cute.
that you bought for her.
You can barely see her, but yeah.
I don't. Our rule is you never wake up a sleeping cat.
Yeah, never wake.
So I don't want to wake her up
No,
to bring
that's
her
mean.
out. But as soon as I saw him Hawkins, I went, "Where're the cats?"
Where the cats go?
That's how much
cute.
we're connected with our tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, she got him that cat tree like what, 2 years ago. Yeah,
Mhm.
and this is the only one that's not scratched up to hell. The
Right.
one downstairs that we bought for them, they scratched it up to hell. This one is like, it still looks brand new.
Yes,
it's like they respect this one.
Yeah, they respect this one
more.
because M bought it.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
they're definitely her meow meows.
Yeah, they're her mouth.
Okay, we've had several
All right.
more callers. Some of them been holding for a while, so my apologies. We're going to get back to Crystal, though. Crystal, are you there? Oh, we just got an awesome donation from Zoran.
Oh,
thank you so much, Zoran.
Zoran.
Very much
Thank
love.
you so much.
Long time listener, love your show. Here's a contribution for your new laptop, Chris.
Aw.
Love you, Chris and Sharigio. Keep up the amazing work. How did he
Aw,
know that my
thank-
laptop was messed up?
I don't know.
I literally broke my laptop just like
I
3 days
know.
ago. I didn't mention
didn't-
it, did I?
I don't think so.
Holy crap, man. That you're like
That's-
totally tuned in because I don't think I
Yeah.
mentioned that I broke my laptop.
I don't think you did either. That's creepy.
Whoa.
But thank you so much, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not
Wow.
getting Crystal on here. So I don't know, Crystal, if you can try calling back because
Yeah. Try
for
calling
some
back.
reason, yeah, we're not hearing you. Oh, wait, hold on. I see what happened. It's got two of her on the call board.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
think this
why.
is Crystal here. Okay, now it's got
She probably
three,
has this on hold.
three of her on the call board.
Yeah, she has
Okay.
this on hold multiple times.
Crystal, you there?
Hey guys.
Hey, there you
Hey.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
There's problem with the call board here. All right. So,
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna make this real quick out of respect for all the other callers. Both of you, there's undeniable connection. You're both so beautiful, and just give the kitties a kiss when they wake up for me.
Okay.
And you guys, if you find yourself in the darkness, which guaranteed most of us will, just make sure that you're the star shining in that light. You might find that you are that star shining in an empty sky of night, you know? So, when you're crushed into that darkness, you are that light. But you have to choose to step into yourself that way. You know what I mean? It's a choice.
I wholeheartedly agree. I've always said my light shines brightest in the darkest of nights. So where else is the
It
light
is.
going to shine?
And-
Are we going to go into a room that's all full of light? Well, then what are we? We're not accomplishing anything. Our role, in my humble opinion,
No.
is to go into the darkness, to light the darkness up.
That's it. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful. You got to be willing to go there, though, do the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with
Got to do the
your?
work.
You were mentioning some of your struggles and everything like that. Where are you at now, if you don't mind me asking, without getting too personal?
Yeah, without getting for it. Well, I definitely need some opportunities to open up to me. I'm just trusting that they will, that I'll be able to relocate and work. Or really, I'm a Scorpio North node, so my work involves helping people, inspire people into stepping into their own empowerment. I just don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, I left 2 YouTube channels in the past year because it just wasn't vibing right. Something was not, it was a big no for me, but I am capable of being on a public platform and speaking, no problem. And people did enjoy it, but there was some vampirism going on. There was some, oh, she's just got a cute face, and we're just going to use her for a cute face and not what she can actually contribute with, you know, her experience and knowledge and wisdom and things like that. And it was kind of an insult, like, oh, okay, yeah, let me walk away from that. And so I've walked away from a lot, and on top of kind of a failed business. So right now I'm kind of floating in limbo, you know, and on top of like kind of going through just trying to survive, you know, but I don't want to just survive. I want to make this moment be the platform that I jump to the highest good scenario that's coming. So I'm very hopeful for that. I just don't know
if you
how.
want to do something on TFR, you're welcome to. We can talk off air about that. That's all radio, so it's not, you know, your pretty face isn't going to be an issue there, but you know, it is a pretty face nonetheless. But I totally understand that, because I've seen a lot of people rely on their looks instead of their content, and you know, however they want to get their audience and clicks, that's whatever they want to do. But that's one thing that I respect Cherie about the most, is she's very sexy.
Aww.
But she's also very conservative in the way that she dresses, and
demure.
She doesn't show off very much in the bedroom. That's a whole different story. But
you know, we have fun in the bedroom. The outfits are
naturally.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, we're both of the mindset of we'd rather have people resonate with our words than with the way that we look.
With our hearts.
And that's another reason why I chose to go all black for a long time, because it kind of throws people off, and it's like, well, look, they're all black, you know, and like, you know, wearing all black and everything like that, and it's like, okay, well, can you see the light inside of me? That's
right.
the thing. That's what I want people to be attracted to, not you know, the way I look, or the, you know, my fancy, you know, thing on my head,
exactly.
that, you know, or the title of great omnipotent overlord,
namaste master, or whatever,
light star seeds, you know, whatever. I'm not a super soldier.
Ascended master.
I'm not an ascended master. I'm not a shaman.
Yeah.
I'm much more, but you just have to see it.
It is absolutely the content. It is absolutely the content of character that should shine out before a physical is ever even, you know what I mean? It's so important. I'm the same way. I cover, I don't, you know, like in closed doors, another issue there. Like that's something different. It's nobody's business. It's private. It's our intimacy. But in public and being out, yes, I cover in a very, very classy, comfy, cute, and covered way. But that's just my choice. You know, that's my choice, and I feel right about that. But it's so important to just look at the content of someone's heart and their energy, what they're contributing, what they're capable of contributing. And I have. Boy, narcissists hate me. I don't know. I guess my light disturbs their demons or something, but they hate it when I walk away, you know, and it's like, well, no, you shouldn't. You should be glad that I loved myself and moved on and celebrate that. But no, it's okay, though. I forgive and let it go and learn and take that lesson into the next phase in my life. But I am ready now to, like, I don't know. I can't even tell you guys how I'm going to contribute to the benefit of others, but I've definitely been through a lot that I feel like I'm capable of helping a lot of people out, and that's really my only goal. You know, I looked at my Scorpio North Node, and that's like, if you're not working in that mode, you're just going to fail at everything pretty much, because you're not being, you know, on your true mission. You know, and I'm getting prepared. This has all been preparation for what is coming, and I'll just continually prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually for the next chapter, wherever I'm called to serve, you know, to serve others, not just myself. But yeah, I'm wildly in love with who I am and who I'm becoming and who I'm evolving into.
That's excellent.
And everybody else out there in the chat, yeah, everybody else there in the chat, I just want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and being alive. And oh my gosh, you guys are all just so amazing. And it's an honor. Like the other brother was saying, it really truly is an honor to be on this journey. Even though we have our own separate things, we can come together and share notes. I love that.
I do too. I'm.
And I love you.
We're
Me
honored
too.
more than
More than you can
more than
imagine.
you can imagine.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of other channels and I see a lot of followers, and I don't vibe with followers. I vibe with leaders, and I see nothing but leaders around BTV. Like everybody's got their own opinions. Everybody's got their own, they don't hang on every word that we say. They're inspired by what we say, but they take it in their direction. They add to it. There's been so many callers that have called in that have illuminated parts of myself and sparked ideas within myself and inspired me too. And I don't see that. I see people getting up there and preaching and saying, you need to do it like this, you need to do it like that.
Right.
Oh, if you're doing it differently, then you're doing it wrong, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, that's not, maybe that's good for the NPCs out there, but for organics, we are all on the same level. We're just on different journeys and different paths, but we're all eye to eye, and I love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you.
Be the CEO of your own life. Be the CEO of your own life. Take accountability. Be honest with yourself. Like another brother was saying, you take that self-examination as experience to learn who you are and how you operate. And that way you can contribute to others that may come along in your path in a more beneficial, highest good way, And, there's a lot of darkness and struggle that comes with being a leader. If you have not struggled through anything or have been in the trenches of darkness, be gone from me. Just go learn, go get there, and then come back. We'll talk then. We'll talk then.
Oh, that's very true.
But you guys are amazing.
Yeah, I remember when we first started that people were like, "Did you know Chris Geo was in the rave scene? He was a rave DJ. He did a lot of drugs. He did this, he did that." And it's like, what do you think? I'm not running for fucking Jesus here,
Yep. You're not running for Christ, or savior of humanity.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, see, that's the humbleness I'm talking about. I love it. You guys stay humble, stay real. I love you guys so much.
We love you, Crystal. We can't wait to hang out with you.
I love you.
Love you. Take care.
I know. I'm so looking forward. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome caller. Let's go to area code 419. What's your name? What's on your mind?
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello.
Hi. I've been listening to you guys for a while, like a couple years, and you guys are awesome.
Thank you. What's your name, first of all?
And I'm Ashley. My screen name's Ashes to Ashes.
Oh, Ash! I think I see
Ash.
you. I think you're on my Facebook. Oh no! Wait, no. That's okay. No, I'm getting confused with somebody else.
Two other Ashes.
There's two other
besides
Ashes. Okay.
her. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of Neville Goddard?
I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with the work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You would, he changed my life. He used to do lectures, I think in the 40s. And he talks about how Jesus is your consciousness, and God is not something outside of us. And I had a horrible year last year. I was shook into my knees. I lost everything. And I thought I had it all together. And out of nowhere, it was like this angelic presence showed me Neville Goddard, and I read all his books, and I realized God is not something separate from us.
Is this the power of awareness, Neville Goddard?
Yeah, a guy.
Yeah, and he wrote the
50s.
feeling. Yeah.
Okay. I've never read any of his work, but for so far, what I'm hearing is I'm resonating with it 100%.
Yeah.
We externalize all of this, and like I was saying to the last caller, they want us to look everywhere external. Look to aliens, look to God, look to this, look to that, look anywhere except for inside. Because when you look inside, then you find your true power. And it sounds a lot like what he was talking about.
Apparently, he viewed the Bible as a parable of the human psyche as opposed to a record of actual historical events. And so he actually did not believe in an external God who answers prayers, but rather that, quote, you are the creator, unquote.
That's
right along.
That's brilliant.
We say.
Yeah. I had something else to add to it. It just completely slipped my mind.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's probably my fault.
No.
I threw you off. What do you think, Ash?
I was going to tell you guys. Well, last year I ended up getting my tubes tied, and I didn't understand that it was going to be cutting the tubes, and it completely destroyed me. It destroyed my sex life, and then right after, my mother and her husband won $1 million, and they had abused me and been really bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even offer $1. They didn't even offer. They know, and it made me wake up, and I went through a really dark period, and I thought that God was outside of me, and I was mad, and I went off on all these people, and I was like, you're going to go to hell. But then I was awakened. I went within myself, and I realized that we all create our own reality, and that all my views on money were so bad. But money is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And I had to really go within, and what I found, it completely changed me.
Yeah, I can't wait to read some of this because this looks really interesting.
Well, I agree with you. Real quick, Bastet got up, so she wanted to come say hi to M. Hawkins. But the view on money is something that it took me several years to understand. And as I said earlier in the broadcast, I don't know if you had a chance to hear it, but money is energy. And you're not going to attract something that you hate. And they've programmed truthers, New Agers, everything like that to say money is evil, money is evil, money is evil. It's not that money is evil. It's money is just as neutral as a gun or anything else like that. It's the intention behind it. But what I see it as like life energy and life force. And so you respecting that life energy and life force, both putting it out and bringing it in, will actually start to attract it to you. And also, how much value do you put into that energy? Can you help somebody else when they need help? Or are you putting so much value on that small amount of money that takes to help that other person? And you're telling the universe out there, like, $20, for example, somebody needs help, they need $20 or a meal or something like that. They're starving, and you're like, it's $20, that's a lot of money. You're telling the universe that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money to you.
So when you tell the universe, I need a lot of money, they're going to say, okay, well, here's $20.
$20.
Here's $20. This is what you consider a lot of money.
There you
So
go.
I started to realize that energetically, this all starts to unfold like that. Now, I'm sorry to hear that your parents, I think you mentioned, came into a lot of that money and didn't help you at all, period.
Right.
That's very shitty, and
It's low.
it's low, because I've seen situations like this before with people where they've had to go through horrible situations because the parents were super religious and they weren't religious, and so they were like, okay, well, if you're not religious, then we're not going to help you with anything. And I've seen people suffer because of these religious mindsets where people have the means to help their children or their family members, but they simply don't, because they don't believe the same things that they believe. And it's like, what do you call it, Cherie? You call it conditional love.
Yeah, it's conditional love.
And it took me a while to wrap my head around this concept of unconditional love, because love has to be, it has to have some conditions. You know, like, you can't treat me like shit, walk all over me, and still expect me to love you.
Right.
Like, so when Cherie and I were first talking about unconditional love, she was like, I want to find unconditional love. And I'm like, no. I can't sit here and let somebody treat me like shit and then love them back.
Her vocabulary was totally different on that
but
one.
what she was trying to convey to me is
Yeah.
that no. Unconditional love doesn't come with conditions, meaning like you have to follow this belief system in order for me to love you, or you have to do this in order for me to love you. You know, you have to think the same way in order for me to love you. It's just, you just got to be nice to me and I will love you back. You know, that's the only condition that I have for love. And that comes to self-love, because I'm not loving myself if I'm letting somebody treat me like shit.
Exactly.
But it sounds like a situation where it was a conditional love kind of thing, which is not real love in my opinion.
Right.
Well, and another thing that I really learned is I listened to everyone else and I didn't listen to myself. I thought everyone else had the answers, and they all were saying, you need to get your tubes tied. You need to go to college. You shouldn't have more kids. You this, you that. And I listened and listened. And when I did all that, I literally lost it. I was so hurt. And then my grandmother died. And then I was in darkness, and they all abandoned me. And they all said, look how rotten you are. And it was like they brought me to that place, and I had to realize I knew the right choice within my heart, but I didn't understand what was inside of me, where my higher self was inside of me, and that I was a soul. And then when my grandma died, her spirit came to me, and I was mind blown. And I said, wow, the spirit world is all around us. And I was blind to that my whole life.
Wow. If you don't mind me asking you, I hope this isn't too personal, but you said you got your tubes tied and it affected you negatively. Can you expand a little bit on that? Because I actually have a friend that is dealing with a very similar situation, and they're kind of on the fence on whether to do that or not. What would you tell them to expect after something like that?
I would advise to never do it. It completely at first, I knew I shouldn't have done it because I'm very natural. But then when I did it, it completely destroyed my clitoris. It quit working. It completely died. And I went to all these doctors, and they were like, no. And all of a sudden, it made me realize I couldn't have children. And it is fixable. You can get a tubal reversal, but it costs like thousands of dollars. But it hurt me in so many strange ways. I felt broken. I've never enjoyed sex since. It's been very hard. It's like I'm in a menopausal state. So there's all these books about that doctors really know this, that once you cut the fallopian tubes, you're more likely to get a hysterectomy eventually. That's why they push it. That's why they do it for free. And they never told me. They knew I was against it, all the doctors, and they never told me it was cutting. They said they would tie them. And it's like I went into menopause, full menopause, and I'm still 1 year later. I'm still just suffering, and now I'm like, I would love to have more children. What was I thinking? And my vagina's like an old lady now. I feel like I'm 50, 60 years old.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 28.
You're 28.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really
that's
young.
very young. The person that's considering doing this, she's about 35. So a little bit later in life, but 28 years old.
There's a lot of
having those
research on
issues.
it.
That's
Well, yeah, I think the first thing, the first issue here is the question of wanting more children. It is really, really, really common for women to feel pressured by their family members or by their spouses or by grandparents or whoever to be sterilized. And it's a terrible, terrible thing, because a lot of the time the woman isn't really the one making the decision, and it's really these people that are pressuring her that are making the decision for her. And she doesn't have a whole lot of support that's telling her, hey, this is your decision. This is your body. This is your choice. Do you want to have more children? Because after this, you will not be able to. And it really...
And we come from the old ideas of, if you don't have a husband, you can't, take care of your kids, and all these old ideas
outdated.
that have rotted people's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
extremely outdated
And no,
ideas.
everyone has to be saying, yeah, the grandmothers need to be saying the universe has your back. You can do anything. You can create your reality.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to be a mother again, be a mother again. Go, take care of your babies, the ones you already have. Take care of your education. Get a good job going, and then have another baby. There's no problem with that. You should have been told that. That is what you should have been given, and I'm sorry you weren't given that. That was wrong of them to pressure you in the way that they did. That was absolutely wrong, and I'm so sorry for that. But please understand that even if you don't ever get your fertility back, you're not broken. I'm going to be having a hysterectomy soon because I have endometriosis, and it's gotten to the point where it's so bad that, no amount of CBD oil, no amount of, I've had repeated surgeries to remove huge cysts, that, it's life-threatening at some points, even. And so I have to look at the situation from the perspective of, whenever I was younger, I too was pressured a lot to make choices that were not good ones for my body. And I didn't know any other way. I just legitimately didn't know any other way. And a lot of these decisions were made before I even had the legal age to make those decisions. And so,
well, yeah, a friend of ours got the HPV vaccine.
Yep, she got the HPV vaccine.
And now she has periods about
8
11
months out of the year. Yeah, 11 months out of the year. Yeah. And she only not bleeds
and she's
a month out of the year.
She's 23.
Yeah, she's only 23.
Yeah.
And she's pretty much, there's no way to get pregnant if you are not able to stop bleeding long enough to ovulate and to go through the different hormonal cycles that are involved. It's not just releasing an egg and then, the sperm meets the egg. It's a whole complex orchestra and symphony of hormones. And when even just one of them is thrown off, it can result in a woman feeling completely broken. It feels like you're broken, but it's not that we are broken. The avatar has something abnormal with it, but that's not us. That's not who we are as people. And so
it's just a vehicle.
It's just the vehicle you're driving.
But it sucks to drive a vehicle.
It sucks to drive a vehicle that's broken.
No doubt about it.
But no matter what, you are not broken. And as long as you are from now on making decisions on your own without any interference or manipulation by any external source, I think it'll be just fine. And I even think you could reverse that tubal in a few years and have another baby within 5. The possibilities are endless whenever it's you who's in the driver's seat.
That's true. And our consciousness really does create reality. And even though it requires something physical to change, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. I think you can change it. I think you will change it. If that's what you truly want. I've seen just amazing stuff happen in people's lives. Like cancer, like disappearing from people's lives, just like that overnight, just, mind over matter type of stuff. It's rare, but I've seen it happen.
I've seen it happen too. I've seen bones go back together.
I can only, imagine the struggle of having the sexuality missing, and especially at such a young age, at 28.
Yeah.
But, like I always say, the first thing is to recognize the problem and then start working on it. And you've already recognized it. You're already starting to work on it. I think in a couple of years, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And to know there's always hope in our body. It can heal itself. And, now I walk around and everything I touch, I'm like, thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for everything I've been through. Thank you for everything. And before, I really wasn't being grateful. And when I'm grateful, I'm hopeful, and I'm like, everything's right how it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
If I wouldn't have learned those lessons, I would have still thought I was a good person. I would have still thought God was way somewhere else, not even worried about me. I wouldn't have realized just how much power we all have. And even when we get together, it's like anything. We could do anything. We could create heaven on earth.
We can.
Yes, we
And
can.
that's the big secret they're trying to keep us away from,
Mhm.
is that heaven isn't someplace outside. Heaven is inside. Heaven is, I mean, I posted something on Facebook the other day and I said, heaven is a purring cat laying on your head. And I was
Aw.
laying on the couch and Sekhmet just came up to me and she was just purring and I just felt like this beautiful, peaceful bliss. And all it was as simple as just a fluffy kitty purring on my head. You know, so we create these little
Aw.
moments inside of our little consciousness. And yeah, it's like the whole world didn't matter during that time. All it was just the kitty purring on my head and I was totally happy. And I wouldn't have appreciated that. I had a near-death experience on the 11th of November, and ever since then, I have been savoring every touch, every kiss, every sensation, everything, and I found a whole new appreciation for life after that. And if it wasn't for that, I'd still be going around taking everything for granted. So worst case scenario, we're just enjoying everything that much more, and it's that much more meaningful. So, you know, thank you for sharing that, because number one, it takes a lot of courage to share something like that. Number two, I think there's a lot of people out there that need to hear it because they're also experiencing it. But a lot of people don't want to talk about stuff like that, which is why we talk about the stuff that we talk about, to let people know it's okay what you're experiencing. So thank you very much for that, Ash. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
Thank you guys so much. That was my first time calling in a radio show.
Oh, well, you couldn't tell.
No,
You sound like an old
Thank
pro at
that's
it.
great. Is
So-
there anything else on your mind?
No, I'll let you guys get to the other callers. Thank you. You're both beautiful, amazing souls, and I love you both.
Thank you. We love you
we
too.
love you too. Thank you, Ash.
Oh my God, man! Just
Such beautiful callers.
the tribe is just on fire.
Yeah, they are.
It is.
They really are.
It's, there's something that happens to me in the middle of the night, and I'm just like, I want to do a show. And it's not the ideal time, especially on a weekday. A lot of people have to go to work, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, just when inspiration hits.
Yeah.
And the call just comes in. I can tell you're getting tired, though. We're on
A little bit
completely
tired.
different sleep schedules. I sleep all day, work all night. Cherie sleeps all night.
Yeah.
Typically,
Yeah, usually I'm asleep by now.
yeah, and I'm trying to get on the right sleep schedule, but every time I do, it always seems like I'll make it until about noon, and then after that I'm crashed out until like 9 o'clock.
I just
And then I
can't-
wake up and I'm
yeah.
like, damn it, it's 9 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
man, here we go, another night.
I just can't sit up for too much longer.
Okay, no problem. We've got 2 more callers, and
all
then
right.
we will wrap it up. So
right.
let's go to area code 330. 330, what's your name? What's on your mind?
Hey, it's Deocean. What's up, bro?
Deocean, how are you, my
Deocean.
dear?
How are you doing?
Hey, love. Oh, I'm cool. I got the same thing, man. I can only stay up until about noon when I try and do that, and then I need a nap.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear a cowboy in the background. He wants to say hi. My
My
little floof belly. My little floof. Yeah, you are, yes.
Give him a big hug and
You're
kiss and
on
scratch from us.
YouTube. Yes, he will. He rolls his little floofy white Manx mellow. He's a Manx kitty.
Oh,
Manx mellow belly up, and that is so cute. And I tell you, that's the best time of the day, right? Is when he has his little belly turned up to be rubbed.
I saw
And then he purrs and purrs.
I saw a meme earlier, and it was a cat, and his belly was lit up, and it said the sacred floof. When the sacred floof is exposed. And that's like the sacred part. Our cats do it all day. They'll sleep with their bellies up all day. They let us rub them in their bellies, all that. Cherie, we have a video on our Facebook of Cherie just going up to Bastet and saying, "It's okay, sweetie. Here you go." And Bastet's just giving her paw like she's at a nail salon. And Cherie's just cutting the nails all one at a time. And people in the commenting going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. My cat would freaking tear me up alive if I did that." And she's just like, yeah, okay, here's the other one. All right.
I don't know. I haven't tried doing that to mine yet. I haven't had him that long. I've had him only a year. A lady died in our building, and I just couldn't let him go to the shelter.
Oh.
He's a sweet guy and an older kitty and a real sweet guy, and I just couldn't. Older kitties don't do well at shelters.
Oh yeah.
And
you saved his life.
That.
I mean, they would have put him down.
Shit. Yeah, he knows it. Somehow they know that, and they really are grateful for it. And he's been great. The only thing is, Manx shed all year, so I've got a piece of cowboy everywhere, and my food is all cowboy flavored.
Oh.
Now, he's everywhere I am.
Ours like lobster and what else?
Like actual food,
Yeah.
human food.
No, the cat food.
Oh, they Fancy Feast seafood.
Seafood. They want the
Seafood and gravy.
Lobster and whitefish and
filet. They like the filet mignon.
The filet mignon.
Dry food.
Yeah. They're very picky. Very
picky.
spoiled.
They're extremely picky.
They're
But they're
babies. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I found a food called Harmony that has all good stuff in it. Doesn't have a bunch of junk. So I've been putting him on Harmony. They had him on something else, and he had gotten very, 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 very chunky. And now he's actually lost weight. It's so easy for them to lose weight. I'm so envious. It's so easy. You just put them on the right food and they lose weight. And they become a normal-sized cat. But
we were using we were feeding them Taste of the Wild, and it was all organic, natural, and actual meat like venison and seafood and stuff like that. But we saw that Taste of the Wild had a couple of salmonella situations, and there were a couple cans they refused to eat, and then it became harder and harder to find that brand. And Cherie bought a whole bunch on Amazon that she found, and I think it was bad because they refused to eat it. And so we had to find them something else. We're going to look into Harmony, though, because I don't like feeding them like Fancy Feast or, something like that. But they're very picky. I mean, they will if it doesn't stink up the house, they will not eat it. So they need something stinky. And that when people walk in, they know we have
cats right off the bat.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. I get it though. I've had some like that.
When people knock on the door, we have to light candles and do all that. And yeah.
Oh gosh, it's like I remember those days. And fortunately, this one isn't causing me that much trouble. I just have to pick his hair up from everywhere. I just have to, I just am wearing him constantly. But anyway.
Well, you are such a sweetheart
right?
for taking him, because you really saved his life. And I can already tell just by the way you're giggling and talking about him, he's bringing you so much happiness and so much joy. It's beautiful to witness.
It is. I have done all kinds of artwork with him in it too.
Oh,
he's actually subject for artwork. I do digital art. That's another thing I do. I'm a singer. I make music. I do it's easy for me to say, right? And yeah, I'm the person who asked you if I could be on TFR radio. Yeah, that's great.
Let's
But,
do that. Let's do that. I'm sorry I never followed up with you, but I'll look for your email. I know I give you the email.
Oh
Let's,
yeah, I did 2 emails. I'll give you one of mine is dsingerocean@gmail.com, and that's another one of mine, besides the one that I sent you at. So I've
okay.
got more than one, but I will let that one go on the air, because last time I let an email go on the air, it got very odd, very quick. It got very cool.
Yeah, we don't like. Yeah, we try to avoid that.
Yeah, but yeah, letting you know that's kind of a limited access box.
Can you say that again? D Ocean or D Singer?
The Ocean Singer.
Singer at Gmail. Okay, and is that D or DEE?
Just D.
Okay.
Just the Ocean Singer.
Okay, I'm sending you a
That
message
way-
from my personal email, which it's more likely to get to me on my personal email. So, okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, because yeah, I don't know. I think it would be a good fit. I'd rather do radio. I like streaming because I like my people. I like my crew. I like having that interaction and stuff. However, I don't want to always have to fix myself up beautiful for that. You know, I don't. Kudos to Sherry. Oh dear, you know, I appreciate that you fix yourself up all the time, and I used to, but
Aw.
sometimes I just have things in my mind, and I just want to say, "Well, you both look nice," and
Aw,
you know,
thank
I'm
you.
like,
I just naturally look like this. Cherie, on the other hand, I hear about it all the time. Oh, I got to put makeup. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Well,
Me,
yeah.
I'm just naturally, you know. I
Feel
wake
like
up, I
I'm
look
gonna
like
do that.
this. No.
Well, I think it would look
I hate that. No,
a little weird if you put on as much makeup as I do.
Awesome. Anything else
Yeah.
on your
I
mind,
wish
D?
I could do that. No, you know what? Just honestly, I gotta say, I was flat for several days last week. I don't know what was going on, but the new moon energy is better now. I feel a lot better. As you can tell, I'm laughing and having a lot. But did anybody else feel like really flat last week?
100%.
Because I'm trying to figure it out.
Last week just went by like that, and I sat on the couch in the same place for about a week straight. Now I was working on my laptop, which is how it broke. I dropped it off the corner, and I dropped it off the corner one too many times. But I sat literally in the same place all week, and I'm like, oh my god, a whole week has freaking gone by. What the hell happened? So I was feeling that too, for sure. And then today, the new moon, just all of a sudden, boom, all this energy just came in. So much so that I'm going
I
to take Cherie to
know.
breakfast, even though she's exhausted. But I'm going to take her to breakfast afterwards. Maybe go play a little blackjack too. I've been getting into blackjack lately. We went to the casino the other day, and I went in with 200, and I walked out with 180. So I didn't do bad, and I played for an hour. I didn't win, but I didn't lose. I lost $20, and it was great. It was a great experience. Yeah. And then, of course, Cherie had to put $40 in the slot machine on the way out, so we had to lose a little more money on the way out. But, you know, that's how it happens. The way I see it, though, if we lose $60 at a casino, we get free drinks, and it's just like a night out. So it's, you know, it's a date.
It's a date.
Yeah.
So if you lose $60, you get free drinks.
Yeah, they do free drinks. Oh, they do free drinks at the casinos. And you know the pit boss, okay? I go in there and I say, hey, would you mind? I'm just learning blackjack. I just got my basic strategy down. I read on the internet you have $5 tables, but they're $10 now. Would you mind if I played some $5 games? And he goes, you know what? There's not too many people here right now. Yeah, you can play $5 for the next hour or so. I said, okay, cool. And then I order some drinks from the waitress, and I hear the pit boss telling the waitress, make sure to make their drinks extra strong. And I'm like, oh, he's trying to get me drunk. He's trying to get me drunk so I blow all my cash.
Good luck with me. It's so hard to get me to fall over, really. I mean, they tried that one time on my birthday. I was dancing and singing because I love karaoke. I'm a karaoke queen, you know. I'm like I'm instant karaoke royalty because I can actually sing. So the DJs are so happy. You know, oh, wow, I got one that can sing. They're not just like shouting at the microphone, you know. So they let me sing anything I want, right? So after the first time I ever go to a karaoke bar, it's like, oh, she's here, cool, you know.
Nice.
So
I would love to hear it sometime.
I love that. Yeah. Well, that's another thing I want to talk to you about. I got questions about that because, you know, I really want to start. I have some ideas that I want to start doing some spoof videos too, really, because I have some things already written. I don't know how to do a lot of this, okay? But you're so good at this shit, okay?
Oh, thank you.
So let me, I've been meaning to do this a long time, but maybe finally we'll, make a connection here or something, okay? I love you all, brother and sis. Please, you know, keep doing what you're doing, and good luck. Marvelous. Okay.
Love you too.
Love you too, Dee.
Okay, pet your kitties for me.
Likewise.
And Cowboy is flirting with both of them in Astral probably right now
Aw.
Likewise.
because he's a ladies man, aren't you, Cowboy? Yes, you are.
There's a black
Yeah.
tomcat that looks exactly like Bastet, and he walks around the neighborhood, like the whole neighborhood. And Bastet's been wanting to follow him, but they're really good girls. They stay on the fence and they don't go past the fence line. But he's been luring her out a little bit more, and I heard this, "Arr!" And I'm like, oh no, it's a coyote or something. And I go back and I see the male tomcat is sitting on the fence on one side, Bastet's sitting on the other. It's like watching doubles, like they changed something in the Matrix. And they're both looking at each other, and I'm like, oh no. She's gonna start fucking wandering the neighborhood now. No, we can't have this. He's a bad influence, no doubt about it. Anyways, we're gonna let you go. I can already see Cherie looking at me like he's gonna take me out to a casino to go to have breakfast now. God damn it, I want to go to bed. All right, love you, D.
Love you,
Take care.
Dee.
Okay. Hang together.
Love you so much.
Love you, Dee.
Awesome. All right, final caller, and then we will wrap it up, Mrs. Gio. Let's go to 423. 423, what's your name? What's on your mind?
Hey guys, well, my name is Jennifer. You guys probably have seen me as Running Snake on Patreon.
Ah, Jennifer,
And
how
I'm
are
so
you?
delighted that I got, usually by the time I'm getting up in the morning, y'all have gone to bed. So it's great to finally connect with you. I love you guys so
Likewise.
much.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for being a Patreon and for supporting BTV. That is awesome. What's on your mind tonight or this morning?
Yeah, this morning. Well, there's lots of things I could talk about, but I know y'all have been on a while. First of all, I want to say that I saw the video where you guys were out and Cherie was dancing with the belly dancer, and I have to say how much that touched me
Aw.
because I've been going through a lot of health stuff for the last several years, and so I haven't felt like doing things like that, and I know what it's like when you finally can again, and it was just wonderful to see you letting go and having a good time. And I hope that eventually I'll be able to do that again, too. So.
Oh, thank you. You know, Cherie's going through a lot right now.
Yes, even right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details, but it's very difficult for her to get out and about. And those moments, I didn't realize how precious they are.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with all kinds of like medical stuff and things like that. And so it was a big relief, and to hear that it inspired others too is even better, because I mean, I just felt like free, on that night, and I saw Cherie being free, and hearing that you also felt that energy too, it's wonderful. If you don't mind me asking, if it's not too personal of a question, what's preventing you?
Well, I'm still getting back, and it's a long story, but I was trying to run a business several years back, and it was really just all me. And at the same time, my parents lived 700 miles away from me, and they were having health problems. And long story short, basically my body just gave out and collapsed. Several different things. I'm not really super confident in the modern medical philosophies, so I didn't go down that route. I did a lot of holistic things, and I do have to also say that Life has helped me tremendously.
Oh,
I've been taking it for and one of the problems I was having so much was body pain, just random, all the time, achy painfulness. And once I started taking that went away. And as long as I stay on top of it, it keeps me at bay, and I'm able to start functioning again. And I'm working with some other holistic doctors to try to bring some other things around to fruition, including dealing with menopause and hot flashes, which are absolutely overwhelmingly uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So that's my last one at this point. But as I said, there's a lot of other things, but I'm glad that I'm healing, and I owe part of that to you guys, just for the energy that you share with the tribe and your Life product, and just I'm learning so much from you guys, and I feel like my whole life has been a journey of learning about this theory of thinking and these types of frequencies. And when my friend introduced me to your all show a couple years ago, I suddenly became completely engorged in everything y'all had to say. So helped me and changed my life a lot. And so I'm constantly sending energy. I just want you guys to know that you're always on my mind.
Oh, well, Jennifer, thank you so much for saying this, because there are times when I really these health issues aren't the type that you just hurt, and so you're giving in to a process. At a certain point, it's like the avatar is just not cooperating, and when it isn't, I know how frustrating that is, and how demoralizing it can be. And so I'm really, really, really glad to hear that just watching my story unfold helps other people with their own struggles, and that makes me feel amazingly good. Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. I'm glad that Life's been able to help you, but I'm sorry you go through what you do, but I'm glad it helps you a little bit.
I'm amazed to hear how many people you're inspiring, Cherie. I mean, we get emails, we get callers, I didn't realize how big this thing really is, and how many people out there are experiencing all of this. Life is our CBD oil, AYALife.com. I'm not going to plug it, but it's up on the screen if anybody wants to check it out. Buy one, get one free. Code is BTV Tribe. But you've struggled with pain a lot, Cherie, and at first I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to put that on people,
Yeah.
But once we started talking about it, we're getting people like Jennifer here who are also experiencing the same thing. What do you do for pain that can help Jennifer, other than Life? What are some of the mental things that you do?
Ice and heat. And working with crystals, actually, along with ice and heat. It's something about the heat or the cold moving through them seems to help quite a bit.
I use heat definitely helps.
Yeah.
But then again, that's a challenge with the hot flashes. So it's okay, here I'm putting my hot packs on
exactly.
for my pain because it feels great.
That's
30
hormones.
seconds later, you've got a hot flash.
Yeah.
Really drenched in sweat, throwing everything off. You're like, oh man, I could just dive into a pool of ice right now, naked.
There's a like it's an alternative kind of hormonal thing. I'm trying to remember what it's called. But I'll put a link on it on my Facebook later on this morning. But it's kind of like a human growth hormone type of. It's a plant that makes the body produce more human growth hormone, and so it's really actually really good for hormonal types of irregularities. And it really helped me for a long time until I got a good balance with
Is it
the
valerian?
hormones. No, this is something completely different. But you can also use there's a root, and I think Lucky knows more about this.
Yeah.
And she knows about all kinds of things for menopause and menstrual irregularities and women's hormones. She knows a lot about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm also a life coach, so I do have a lot of background in that kind of thing, and I've gone through the gamut of every single thing that I could find.
I can tell
that is natural and organic and all of that. In fact, I finally, even though I don't normally go down the route of modern medicine, I did find a holistic doctor, and he said, well, would you be willing to try bioidentical hormones?
Yeah.
So I just started that yesterday, so I don't yet know the final outcome if it's going to.
I was actually going to suggest that
That's
because
the thing,
I have found a good balance between Western medicine and Eastern medicine.
Me too.
And what I found is that if you approach a doctor and all you're doing is just complaining, they're going to write you off like you're a number. But when I approach a doctor, I'm like, this is my goal. My goal is to work out. My goal is to be more active. My goal is to do this and to do that. And they say, oh, okay, well, if those are your goals, then this is what you need. They put me on testosterone therapy. They put me on estrogen blockers. And these are the parts of the modern medicine that have helped me significantly. A lot of women don't realize, but their testosterone level plays a huge part in it. And you wouldn't even think to check testosterone levels for women, but it was actually Cherie's pain management doctor that suggested something called BioT, which is a little pill that gets injected.
It's a pellet.
It's a pellet that gets injected into the thigh. And balancing the testosterone levels, even in women, actually helps to reduce pain and rebalance hormones. So a lot of OBGYNs will just look at estrogen. Even Cherise was just looking at estrogen, and it was her pain doctor that said, let's look at the testosterone.
Let's look at all of the
Let's look
hormones.
at the whole spectrum all around. Yeah. So that balance of Western and Eastern medicine, I'm 100% for. If you would have asked me 6 years ago or even 10 years ago, I would have been like, hell no, I'm not going to a doctor. But once I realized how to communicate with the doctors, then I realized there's value in both. You don't have to do everything they say.
No.
Because, the pharmaceutical companies sometimes they'll go and they'll literally send 20-year-old girls in short skirts with drugs and say, if you sell this many drugs, we'll get you a cruise or we'll give you this car or do that car. So they have that. But there is some Western medicine that's beneficial.
I was also going to add that now that you've said I've tried pretty much everything holistic, now I can agree with Chris that there's a balance of Western and Eastern medicine. I mean Western and holistic type of medicine that needs to be integrated within one's life. Whenever it gets to the point where you've tried everything in the gamut, you've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this, that you can
Literally.
on your own. Yeah. And you finally, do break down and go see a doctor. Don't feel bad about that going to see a doctor, because let's face it, we live in a 21st century environment with 21st century chemicals around us, and we have the ability to discern for ourselves what is poison, what is moderate, and what is healthy. And we understand the differences between those three things. We don't think that, shoving a bunch of pills down our throat randomly is going to help us. Neither do we think staying completely away from any doctors or anybody with an MD behind their name is good for us either. We take the middle road because that's the one that makes the most sense when you're looking at things from a both spiritual and materialist kind of perspective, and you have to look at it both ways, because if you're looking at it unbalanced, you're going to end up really, really sick either way it goes. If you go too much towards the holistic, you get sick from not, getting antibiotics if you need antibiotics or something like that. If you go the other way where you just use modern medicine, you could get really sick from the side effects of these pharmaceuticals.
There's one other thing, Cherie, that's been helping me, and we're not sponsored by this company or anything like that. I just order from them. rxb12.com.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing these B12 rapid burners for weight loss, and I did them for about 3 months, and I lost about 20 pounds. I stopped ordering them, and I gained that 20 pounds back. Now, it has lipozene in there, but just the B12 replenishing shots themselves, once I started doing B12 shots on a weekly basis, I just felt like so much energy. So you as a woman, Cherie, the B12, would that help in a situation like this?
Most people that have issues with chronic pain are deficient in several vitamins, and especially vitamin D and vitamin B12, and those two are usually deficient, and there's a few doctors that have looked into why this happens, and Dr. Forrest Tennant is a really good resource on hormones and how they're altered in people that have chronic pain, or especially intractable pain where you have pain all the time. It's just a matter of how bad it is. And he said when people have pain like that, their hormones just get depleted because the body's constantly fighting it. And so when the body's constantly fighting inflammation, it's on overdrive. And finally, the adrenal glands, which are on top of your kidneys, and they're what pumps out the hormones, they finally just exhaust themselves and they stop making the hormones. And so that's why we usually need to start supplementing both with hormones and with nutrients. So multivitamins are really important, but B12 shots can be a game changer for you. If you're finding a lack of energy is a big problem.
When I do a B12 injection, I'm full of energy. And it lasts about 4 days, but it's just not cost efficient for me to do them like twice a week. I tried twice a week for a little bit. Once a week, though, gives me that boost. And, we're always deficient in B12 especially. And what's the other vitamin that you get from the sun?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Yeah, we're deficient in all of that. Mm-hmm. And the older we get, and you got to think about it, we're bombarded by garbage all day long. I mean, radiation and Wi-Fi and the foods we eat and everything like that. It's like you can't turn around. Like I'll look at Cherie and I'm like, I want to eat healthy today, and we're like, okay, well, what the hell are we going to eat? What is there that's healthy? Your rice is bleached, and it's just everywhere you look, we're just bombarded with all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
So no wonder we're having all these issues.
It could even be the case where, and this is an example where you've got to go with a little bit with Western medicine. It could even be the case where your vitamin D level is so insanely low that you end up having to take 50,000 or 100,000 IUs a week until you can get that level back up to a reasonable level. And that would take a prescription level vitamin D supplement. You wouldn't be able to get that over the counter. So, I mean, looking at it from the perspective of we have an environment that sets us up to either fail in going one direction or fail in going the other. So that's why I kind of straddle both worlds when it comes to treating really serious chronic health conditions. And I think, yours qualifies. I mean, I can feel the struggle in your voice. I can imagine what you've gone through, and if it's anything like what I've gone through, I know where you've been psychologically, and that can be a really dark place. But once you understand what this means for you spiritually, it can actually be, that can be a game changer too.
It absolutely has. I mean, I probably could go on and on about so much about what I've learned from this experience, but just to kind of back up a little bit, everything you all just said is right along the lines of what I've been doing. My chiropractor got me on a real strong dose of vitamin D and vitamin B a little over a year ago, and that's helped a lot. So I am coming back. I didn't really mean to sound, I guess I was just a little emotional when I got on the phone with y'all to start, because I've been wanting to talk to you for so long. But, I have been making improvements. So don't think that I'm,
Oh, no.
really still in the pit. But I am coming along and I am making progress. And I feel like there is a light at the end of the tunnel now that I've found another holistic doctor that I do actually trust. Good. And I think you all were saying before, something about, 20 years ago, you would never go to a modern doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least now, these days, we have some doctors that are in modern medicine that at least think a little holistically, where 20 years ago, I'm 50. There 20 years ago, that just wasn't.
Yeah,
that just
didn't
happen.
exist.
In fact, I worked for a holistic doctor, let's see, maybe about 12 or 15 years ago, and in the area where I live in the South, that's really unusual, and so
Yeah.
it didn't fly.
Right. Nobody
Sure.
went, probably.
Now, and the few that did, they were looked at by all their neighbors like, "Why are you going to that weird voodoo doctor? What the heck is
voodoo
Reiki?
doctor?
Why
That's
would
what
you
they
want to
call
go have?"
them.
It's
so,
like we're lucky here
anyway,
in Vegas. I don't
kind
know
of
what
got
it
off
is.
on a
but-
tangent because that was not my main thing to talk about my health, but I appreciate everything that you guys said. I just don't want to take up your time too much. But what I really wanted to ask you about was, as I said, for my whole life, I kind of feel like I've been this person where everybody has always come to me for advice. I mean, even when I was a kid, my mother came to me for relationship advice when I was 14, if that tells you anything. So my whole life, I've kind of just been like a little different. And when I was maybe 17, I was working in this store, and it was a women's lingerie store. And we helped people with, especially young girls, find bras and stuff for the first time. And this experience I had is what I want to talk about, because now that I've listened to everything that you guys have talked about, it makes me wonder if that wasn't an experience, something to do with shifting realities. This lady came in with her daughter to get a bra, and the grandmother was with them. And so, I was doing my regular thing, showing them different things and talking. And then all of a sudden, it was like the whole room froze, except for the grandmother. And she reached over and she looked me right in the eye and she touched my arm and said, "Honey, don't you worry about anything. You're doing just fine." And then everything unfroze. And it was like that conversation between her and I didn't happen. Nobody heard it. Nobody said. And I've always, my whole life, wondered what the heck that was. So I would just like to know what your all's take is on that.
It reminds me a lot of that show Travelers. The traveler from the future takes over a body for a second, communicates a message to somebody.
Yeah, when the director does that. Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, what I'm picking up is you have a grandma element there. I don't know if there's any grandma element in your sphere where there was a grandmother that you looked up to. I was raised by my grandparents, so I'm more connected to my grandparents than I am my actual parents. But it sounds like somebody was coming into that experience to tell you what you needed to hear, and it had something to do with some kind of ancestral spirit or a soulmate that may not be here, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
That's my first intuition just from hearing it.
That's a medium. A medium is somebody that's born with the ability, it's almost like being born with an extra tuner in your radio, where you are able to pick up signals that are coming from outside of this reality, whether that's in another plane or on another timeline or another dimension. I don't know. People have said it's people who have passed away. But I'm of the mind that it may be people who have passed away, but it may not be. It could also be different levels of this reality or different layers of this reality communicating with each other somehow.
That's a better, I like that.
I like that idea. That makes a lot more sense to me.
What do you think about that?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I guess I've entertained all kinds of thoughts over the years, and then as you all started to talk about there being, our real consciousness and our real bodies outside of this reality, I've wondered, okay, well, is that somebody that I know on the outside? Were they just coming in to tell me, yes, everything's going fine in your life despite all these crazy things that seem to go on all the time, and your inability to feel like you belong here, your constant feeling like none of these people around me get it, don't worry, it's okay, you're doing fine, don't worry about them. I guess that's kind of the feeling like I get now, after learning from you guys, that maybe that's what it was.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, but I was trying to keep it a little more physical based. I don't know why I just
less ethereal.
Less ethereal, but I'm resonating with that
a
whole lot more, that it's from the outside coming in and saying, everything is fine. I've had experiences like that in the ayahuasca realm where there's communication with those from the outside who are like, hey, everything's going exactly the way it's supposed to be going. I'm even hearing people speaking over my pod. I've heard a couple people speaking over my pod, and it's hard to tell if it's happening in real time or if it's just kind of echoes. There hasn't been any back and forth communication, but it's interesting that everything just kind of froze. So, I think your interpretation is way better than the way that I put it out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as I said, until I started listening to you guys, my whole life I've always been felt so displaced here. Like nothing made sense to me, and I couldn't explain why. And I was always really super independent, success driven until I got sick a few years ago, and then all of a sudden it's like my whole life flipped upside down, and I am suddenly finding so much peace just being at home and learning to be self-sustainable and gardening and, just taking care as best I can. And I've gotten remarried, and thankfully I have a husband who can financially support us, and we love each other, but he doesn't at all think the way I do about anything. So that's a big challenge. But I'm finally feeling like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm beginning to understand something, why I've felt so foreign my whole life. Because I know now I'm starting to understand I really don't belong here. And you were talking one other time about the connection that you think we have on the outside when we tap ourselves into this matrix, this reality. And I almost call that like a meditation tether, that feeling. When I meditate, there's always been, even way before I had this idea that there was an outer reality, there was always this feeling that I was plugged in at the top of my head, like there's this tube that when I meditate just extends somewhere beyond above me. And I always, there was a time when my thinking was more Orthodox Christian, and I thought, well, maybe that's my connection to God. And then I moved beyond that, and I thought, well, maybe that's my connection to Spirit. And then now, after hearing what you said, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that really is my connection to my raw consciousness outside. Because I've also had I have a lot of holistically geared friends, circle, whatever. And I had one lady tell me one day, she's like, do you have any idea how intensely clairsentient you are? And I'm like, what? What does that mean? And she's like, like clairvoyant, only you're clairsentient. She says, you have this inner knowing that you don't even have to like contemplate things too hard. When you're trying to make a decision, you know it. Your physical self tries to contemplate it, like to reason it out, but you are struggling with this inner consciousness where you're connected and you just know it. And why don't you just take that as face value? And I'm like, well, that's interesting. What do you think about that?
The raw consciousness, the way that I've always felt that it's more of here inside with us rather than outside. We're connected outside to our bodies, right, but the way I see it is we've transferred our consciousness here into this machine here. Yeah. So what we're actually doing is we're tapping inside of something that exists here within this sphere. But you might be onto something in the sense that we're tethered to that, because I've been asking myself this over and over and over again. Were we foolish enough to actually upload our consciousness into a machine? Like, were we so short-sighted that we actually did that, and we're actually, we found ourselves trapped in here? But that tether connection, I felt too. I feel it in the back of my neck, though, rather than the top of my head. But I feel this connection here, and I feel that's where I'm physically plugged into this machine, like right in the back of the neck.
She could be a different species altogether that connects through a different part of the brain.
Right. Yeah. Just different ways. Different
ways of connection.
Different connection methods.
Yeah.
Being connected.
For different species.
Yeah. Outside of this reality, I mean, we like to think of ourselves as humanoid no matter where we are, but it's actually it would be really uncommon for a species to develop and look like humans. It takes taking one species and then mixing it with apes in order to make us. And apes by themselves are actually really uncommon in the animal kingdom when you're looking at the way protozoa turn into small mammals and then they turn into larger mammals. They usually avoid turning into things like monkeys because they lack the strength and the versatility to survive against really big predators. And so it was really unusual how things played out here on Earth. So if you're looking at any kind of outside reality, who knows what we look like or what form we take on what we're capable of.
I mean, I just want to clarify the word species. So what we have determined just based on the amount of people talking about their own experiences is there's different forms. There's, the people who come more from like a lion, cat kind of lineage. Others come from more of like a snake type of lineage. There's different, we look different. It's all one world, one society, but at the same time, there's different forms or different tribes, I guess. That's the best way to put it. I don't really resonate too much with the cat people, for lack of a better term, but there's a lot of people that, and I'm not saying I don't resonate in terms of resonating with them. I just don't resonate as being of one of them. But there's a lot of people that say that they've seen their real bodies. Their real bodies look more like a cat form, for example. I think I look more like a cobra
Serpent.
Type of, and the real body, it's not as appealing as the human body, in my opinion.
Not to this consciousness.
Not to this consciousness. Maybe when we get out there, it's a little bit different. But the real body that I've seen is bigger. The hands are a lot bigger.
Bulkier.
Black claws. There's some kind of timer on my forearm. And what I had an experience one time, and I don't know how to take this experience, but there were some that looked like tapirs. And you get a lot of the Egyptian motifs based on some of the different species that exist within Atlantis. And so some people are more bird people, some people are more cat people, and they all have different roles. Like the tapirs, for example, are more of the soldiers. The snake cobra people are more of the wise, and that's where you get like wisdom, kundalini type stuff. The cat people are more of the healers, more of the mystics, the psychics of the society. So when we say the word species, we're not talking about like a completely different species, but rather more of a different kind of physical avatar that we have out there in the real world. But realistically, it's all one. In Atlantis, what I've come to realize is just again through so many different people's shared experiences is that society all works based on frequency. So you have the frequency of the wisdom, and you play that role of the advisor, for example. You have a taper energy, you play the role of warrior. You have a feline energy, you play the role of healer. And there's no hierarchy. There's just
Everyone plays their role.
everyone plays the role of whatever frequency that they
Operate
are,
on.
and everything is just this harmonious balance. And there were a few bad actors that kind of shook that balance up, that caused chaos.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story. I don't know if you resonate with any of that or not, but I wonder if there's different elements of being plugged in different ways. I'm plugged in from the back of the neck. Others could be plugged in from the top of the head, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Was that way out there?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's not too way out there.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't think there's anything you could say to me that I would think was way out there. I've been in some pretty way out places. But yeah, that makes some kind of sense. I get that then. Because, like I said, it's always been there. And then when you all were talking about that, I'm like, well, that just kind of made some connection for me. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's where I'm getting that from, is, above or my outer raw consciousness. So now when I do meditate, I make sure that I'm putting it out there, that wherever I think that is going to, I want it to connect to my raw consciousness, because I want to make sure that it's not bringing me information from somewhere that's not good.
I mean, that is a possibility too. I have seen the chakra system as implants into this avatar. We don't have the chakras outside. The chakras were something that were developed on the inside of the matrix. So I've tried to disconnect myself from the chakras. The pineal gland also. A lot of people will turn to the pineal gland for that connection. But the pineal gland is a physical manifestation of the matrix itself. So when I refer to raw consciousness, I think of who were we before we were plugged into this machine at all, period. Before we had any of these experiences in this machine, who were we? And I think we had a lot more knowledge coming into the machine, but we have the memory wipe that we go through, which is why it's just like remembering and piecing together all kinds of different pieces of whatever we can remember. And this memory wipe is a bitch. I mean, it's just like, if we can come in without the memory wipe, I think it would just be a little bit unfair to the rest of everybody if we came in without the memory wipe. But we're remembering more and more and bringing all the different pieces of the puzzle together. But I do feel what you're saying, though, is these connections could be tapped right into AI and feeding us this information through AI, which is why I don't do the chakra thing. I don't do the pineal gland thing. I don't do any of that. Instead, I just go within and just try to pull information from who was I before I was Chris Geo, before I was who I was in my past life, before who I was before even that. So are you feeling that this connection might be connected to AI and not necessarily to raw consciousness?
No, actually I don't because I have at times felt like I've had AI try to tap into me from various locations. In fact, I have to be really careful about being on a tablet or a computer or anything for very long, because it messes with my body. So I think that I'm aware of that kind of an energy coming through. With this, it's more like a peacefulness of, okay, here's this open space. Allow yourself to explore who you are, what your true answers are. and when I'm really tapped into that space, that's what it is. It feels like pure love. It's there's no pressure, there's no force, there's no this is the way it's got to be. It's like, okay, this is what is out here for you that is available to pull from as far as knowledge. Take what you feel resonates with your inner self and work with that. It's never been a forced, like, okay, this is what it's got to be. You got to be this, that, or the other thing. At least not in I take that back. At least not in my more recent years. As I say, I feel like I have been on a huge journey of intense learning because, as I said, when I was younger, kind of like Cherie, I didn't have a heavy religious influence like she did, but it was always there. And so my belief was, in God. And as I grew up, then that got even more intense. And then I started to feel like it never really felt right to me. So as I began to take some of the parts of religious genres and piecing together what felt right to me, the more I began to feel authentic, if that makes sense. And so I feel like, I'm, especially in the last maybe 10 years, more able to discern what is true, raw, conscious knowledge as opposed to, okay, what is this other fodder that is trying to make its way into my thinking?
Beautifully said.
That is
that makes
beautifully
sense.
said.
Yeah, and that's why, when you ask questions of us like that, we can give you our feelings, but only you know the answer.
Right.
And that's the whole thing behind all this is, we each have our own path and we have to forge our own path. And there's a lot of people out there saying, this is the path, I know the way, I know this, I know that. Okay, that may be fine for you.
For you. Yeah.
But that's your path. And so you answered your own question right there. And that's you're the only one that can answer it. Yes.
Yeah, and that's that was a beautiful answer, Jenna. It really was. And I just want to add one more thing. It could be that you are feeling what people that are into physics talk about, how if you were going to transfer consciousness in any capacity, you would need a frame that would hold the consciousness. And so they speculate that if this were the case, the consciousness would be uploaded not to a machine, but rather to a quantum frame. And inside of that quantum frame, it's like a universe within a universe. And I think that's what you might be exploring when you're traveling within your mind and you're going to these places and you're being encouraged to explore. I think that's what you might be exploring, is the quantum frame itself. And that it's, along with other things that Chris has experienced along with me, us together at the exact same time, I think it just means we're becoming more aware of the fact that we're not from here, that our consciousness has indeed been placed in something that's not its native body.
Well, and I would add to that too, that the system is shutting down.
And that the system is shutting down.
So if you've noticed, every single caller that's called in tonight has said, I've got this going on, I've got that going on, I got that going on. I'm feeling it too.
Nobody said, I feel great.
Right.
Yeah.
The avatar is breaking down naturally with the matrix itself. As in my opinion, the matrix shuts down. The only thing that we can do is kind of create our own little happiness right here in this sphere and just kind of ride it out until evac. And when I talk about evac, what I'm talking about is I really feel, at least for me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I don't know if anybody else resonates with this. This is our last lifetime here. There's no more cycle of reincarnation. There's none of that. This is it. We're going to wake up and go back home after this. It's just, the machine is just shutting itself down. So we will know the truth sooner than later. But while we're here, let's make the best of what we have while we're here.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And, since you all have been talking about that, people's avatars breaking down because the system's being shutting down, I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's what's going on with me. So that definitely resonates. So
Yeah. Well,
and I don't want to hold you guys up.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Really long.
Except for I'm freaking breaking down too, and I'm looking at myself and going, "What the hell's going on here?" And I don't know. Maybe it's just getting old. I don't know. But no, it's
the ticker is
good.
Yeah, it's
I feel the countdown clock.
Avatar,
heading down, and it's the countdown. It's the avatar. It's not the consciousness.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Cherie made a really good point. She said, as the avatar breaks down, we become more and more connected with our raw consciousness, with who we truly are. We start experiencing the death of the self while becoming more in touch with the raw consciousness. And when we get to that point of operating from solely the raw consciousness is when we're finally able to go, okay, I can let this body go.
Yep.
And I'm still in that in-between phase where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to let the body go just yet.
Yep. That's
and it's still, but Cherie she just noted this the other day. She's like, you're operating more and more from your true self. You're operating less and less from Chris Geo and more from your true self. And that cycle is happening. So yeah, I hope we've been some help. And I hope we've been able to help you figure it out, because we can't tell you the answers for your path, but we can help. We can try to inspire you to figure it out for yourself.
Oh, you guys are definitely inspiring all the time. Every time I listen to you. I mean, I can be having a bad day, I can feel yucky, whatever, and then I can just get right on. And after listening, no matter what the subject is, sometimes you guys are like, oh, this is not such a high-frequency subject. And I'm like, no, doesn't matter what you're saying, just keep talking, because, that's what it does. And well, as you say, we're a tribe, and so we're symbiotic in that way, that we have to feed each other because we love each other. We want to share that. And so, please always know that there are those of us out there, no matter what you're talking about, you are lifting us and helping us feel like we're part of something good and positive, and that there's a place where true love exists completely and wholeheartedly, even if it's not in this reality we're living now. And I am anxious for the day that we all get there.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, because I'm really hard on myself sometimes, and I'm like, man, I was in a low frequency today. That was a terrible show. Oh, I brought everybody down. But hearing that from you, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We love you so much.
Welcome. I love you guys so much, and I love the whole tribe. Everybody stay strong, stay free, and come from a place of love. I'm going to let you guys go so you guys can
take care.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Oh, that was beautiful.
That was. Those were some heavy questions.
Oh, those were some heavy callers, but good callers.
I admit, I was a little like, whoa, okay, hold on. I've got to really figure this out.
Deep.
And I'm like,
I
can't answer these questions. I only she can answer the questions.
Aww.
But I understand the need to ask them, because I ask them of myself all the time, and I can't even figure it out for myself sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the call, she figured it out, and that's what it's all about. We've got one more caller who's been holding, so we're going to take this call too. And I know I said we were done with calls, but we're going to take one more. 760. What's your name and what's on your mind?
Hey, it's Antonio.
Antonio, what's up, my brother?
Hey, thank you guys for taking my call. I knew you guys said that was the last one, but it's just wild what you guys were just talking about right now.
Jennifer was deep, man. Jennifer made me think. I had to stretch my brain for that one.
Yeah, because I've had that I've had that same experience. Where like time stops and then they like give you a message. It's so weird, and it's happened. What I've noticed is from people that I'm intimate with and that I love. I don't know if like that has something to do with it.
Describe it a little bit more, because that was the one thing that threw me off a little bit, because I've never had those experiences. I have in the Aya realm, when I'm deep in hyperspace, I will see an entity that I am familiar with in the real world, but I've never had it happen in my day-to-day life. So how does that happen, and what did it mean to you?
It was like time stopped, and then like me and the person I was with had like a beam connection almost, and they were just staring at me like with a dead stare, and then they were saying stuff, and I don't really always remember everything they say. Like they give a message, I kind of remember like the last little bit of it, and then all of a sudden like time goes back on, and then like they act like they didn't just do that, almost like their body kind of got possessed. And then when I bring it up, they're like, what are you talking about? And then like I start questioning, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And it's happened 3 different times with 3 different people. It's weird, dude.
Tell me about it, please.
It's I don't know. Like I said, like it's like I forget the message, the full message, but I remember like little bits and pieces, and I remember that dead stare that they give me.
I'm trying to visualize this. So you're in a group of people, or maybe with 1 or 2 people, everything just kind of stops.
Just one person.
One person turns to you, says something, and then everything just kind of resets, and the conversation continues, or the situation continues as if it never happened. I mean, I can picture it from that show Travelers.
Yeah.
Where I've only seen bits and pieces, but the director will take over a body, give a message to a traveler, and then that's it. The body goes back to, the consciousness goes back. And it's almost like, NPCs being taken over to send a message. I've never experienced it myself, though, which is why it kind of threw me off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it, dude. That's what it feels like. It's so wild. And I never really told anybody because it feels a little woo-woo, but exactly that. And then what you were talking about, like the cat people and all the different races on the outside, dude, through like TikTok, I've been getting all of those different type of information, and it always resonated, and I didn't understand why. But it's kind of like, I think the other side is starting to break through into this reality now.
I agree with
like,
you, because
aware of it, and you're
I didn't mean to interrupt. There's a little bit of a delay, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to say I resonate with that. And the weird thing is that I never really resonated with it before, but after hearing so many people talking about it, I'm going, you know what? I think there's some truth to this. And I started to like have more visions of my real body, and I'm like, shit, am I really this, like hard-skinned, long-nailed thing on the other side? Is that what I'm going back to? I'm like, I kind of like this body here, it's soft, and especially the female form, the female form is so beautiful here. But yeah, I think that might be the reality that we're looking at. I mean, there's this woman, and she's like Cobra type, but it's not a woman, it's an androgynous being, and they're standing over my pod, and they're like, he won't wake up, he's got simulation psychosis, we need to get him up, we need to get him out of there. He's not waking up. Okay, now we're getting some responses, we're getting this, we're getting that, and it's just there's a group of people, there's this androgynous being, and then 2 others that are standing with it. And I don't know who the 2 others are. It's just kind of like just this blur. But that's what I'm seeing when I'm seeing my pod. And I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like if you could recognize patterns and you could slow down enough to where like all distractions are kind of like gone, you'll start to like realize and see like that world is starting to like crash into here, and it's wild. It's wild. That's all I can say. Yeah, and I think it has something to do with love. I think like the more love you have in your heart, the more like you accept all species and different things, and it frees up a lot of space to like recognize how wild this place really is.
That is true. love, and I would also add to that, I don't want to use the term emptiness, but clarity, balance, clearing out the clutter in the consciousness. The 3D clutter. That's something that I've been focusing on a lot recently, is just the bombardment of 3D clutter and realizing the illusionary nature of this world that we live in, getting that clutter out of my mind so I can get down to the raw consciousness. And I find the more engaged I get in the 3D, the harder it is to tap into the raw consciousness. And so it takes more effort to clear out all that clutter to get to that point of silence and stillness to tap into the raw consciousness. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just wanted to add that a little bit because I guess I'm not alone in the whole time thing, and it's all weird, dude.
No. That's what's awesome about the tribe, man. Is we come together, we share our collective experiences, and then we find others who are also having the same experiences. I'm going to keep an eye out for those experiences, though. I may have had these experiences and not even realized it. So now that I'm conscious of them, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
but two confirmations, in my opinion, back to back is definitely something to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, thanks, guys.
All right. Much love, brother. Take care.
Much love.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out with us.
Sweet kid.
It was an awesome show. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I have a lot to think about now. I really do. And that's what I love about BTV is I learned so much from each and every one of you. And I'm looking forward to this weekend because I got a big meeting on Friday. After that meeting, though, I've got some fucking beautiful mushrooms. Oh my God, they're just fucking gorgeous. Like,
we have a weekend planned.
I wonder, would it be okay to put them up on the screen? Because they're beautiful.
I mean, they are.
They're gorgeous. I've never seen mushrooms like this before. They're like this big.
I know, but you can always take pictures and post them later.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a lot safer.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I mean, these are gorgeous mushrooms.
They're really pretty.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
They're really pretty.
So I'll have some more answers after this weekend, no doubt about it, because I'm going deep and I'm going hard. And it's been a while.
5 dry grams in silent darkness.
No, not silent darkness. 5 dry grams with some freaking awesome psytrance in the background.
Nice.
I don't understand the silent darkness thing. After
didn't know any good music.
No, we did it one time, remember?
No, he didn't know any good music.
Oh, yeah.
Terrence McKenna, the guy that recommended it to begin with.
We did the silent darkness thing, and I sat there.
Yeah.
And after so many times I hear my breath, I'm like, I need some.
This is boring.
I need some rhythm.
Yeah.
I need the vibe. It's the music takes you on the journey. I think the frequency changing. It helps to boost, and it gives it the dynamic nature of everything. But yeah, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
So, anything else on the twins' mind?
Just that this was a great show, not really because of us, but because of the callers.
Yeah. Oh, it's always
they're what
the
really made
callers.
it. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for everybody that's on the super chat. Thank you to everybody on the Patreon as well. Kiss the one you love right now. You never know when the last time is going to be. Do you have a trip playlist? We actually do have a trip playlist. It's an older one. It's one that we were using many, many, many years ago, but I got a direct link to that right now. This is more ayahuasca, Native American, enigma type stuff. We've kind of moved over into more psytrancey type stuff.
Yeah.
But the link I'm going to drop in the chat right now is the old ayahuasca playlist that we used to use. We haven't uploaded our Egypt playlist. Oh, wait, it's not coming up. Hold on, let me see. Did I type that link incorrectly? Oh, it's Geowaska.
Yeah, it's
.mp3.
Geowaska.mp3.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
.mp3.
Geowaska.mp3.
That's it right
Yeah.
there. So yeah, tfrlive.com/chrisgeo/geowaska.mp3. And we had a lot of really good experiences with it. But
Yeah.
this playlist is more like deep work,
Yeah.
you know, meditation, silent spaces. You know, it's dynamic. It's got a lot of Waterbone, a lot of Enigma. It's got a lot of Native American drumming type stuff. And then we evolved a little bit into some more psytrance type stuff, slower psytrance, chill. What is it? Psychill, and then just straight up psytrance.
Yeah.
But not that Goa stuff. That's like da, 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 da. It's more like chilled out Egyptian type of psytrance type stuff. So yeah, we need to upload our updated playlist, no doubt about it. But yeah, so kiss the one you love right now. You never know when the last time is going to be. And how's Mrs. Geo feeling?
I am ready to. I am exhausted, but I am so glad that to be able to be here with you guys tonight. It was wonderful.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to play real quick.
Okay. I love you guys. Yeah.
All right, I was talking about Bastet, right? Check this out. This is Zen Kitty right here.
Good girl. You're so
She's like
good.
she looks like she's at the nail salon.
Yeah, she enjoys it. Because Mommy knows just how to do it without hurting. Yeah. Oh, I know. I love you too. Yeah. She says, oh, thank you, Mama. It feels so much better.
She's totally chilled.
Yeah, because she knows that it feels better when I do that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, one more hand, and then we're done. You're so good, little bastard. I think there might be one on the other side of him.
Oh, she's getting feisty on that one.
This thumb one.
Isn't that crazy? That's Zen Kitty, 100%. I mean, like, they're so chill. They're like, yeah, okay, you can clip the nails, it's fine. Most people will get the shit scratched out of them. Anyways, kiss the one you love right now. You never know the last time is going to be, and we'll see you even further
Beyond the veil. Love you guys.